Hey guys, welcome back to me being cheap. So I want to talk about how much is enough. So if you're trying to create a pantry for, let's say, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, how much is enough? So I've asked myself this a couple times because if I go to the store and I see a good deal on a particular ingredient, I try to think about how much of this do I really need before buying it, and sometimes I don't know the answer. So there's a couple different ways to take a look at it. So when my gardens have been fruitful, which they were not this year, so I've had to buy a lot of vegetables and ingredients that way simply because my garden just did not do anything. But in the past, what I would do is, okay, so presumably you're eating the fresh vegetables during the actual gardening season, and then you're putting up the surplus that you have left over during the gardening season. You're putting that up for the remainder of the year. So let's just say, and I'm just going to make this easy. These numbers may or may not be true. But let's say for 3 months you're able to use fresh tomatoes. And then whatever you can up in tomato sauce, and that's usually what I do is the tomato sauce, because you could turn it into spaghetti sauce, you could put it in chili, you can use it for pizza sauce. It's very versatile. So whatever you have in surplus, you're going to process that and can it in the form of tomato sauce. So let's say you have maybe 20 quarts, or let's say 18 quarts. That's all you have left. It's 18 quarts. I'm just doing this for the sake of easy math. Hopefully if you have a garden, you're putting up more than 18. So let's say you have 18. Oh my gosh, what's my cat eating? Kitty. No. That's not good for you. Alright, sorry about that. My cat was trying to eat a piece of plastic on the floor. So just for the sake of math, let's say that you put up 18 quarts of tomato sauce, and that's got to last you 9 months until your garden starts producing again. So that would be 2 quarts per month that you would need to use up. That's what you would have available. So that's one way of using what you have on hand and trying to figure out meals that work around that. So if you've only got 2 quarts per month, you might, in the wintertime, you might have chili once. You may cook it down and have pasta sauce for another meal. So anyway, a couple different ways to do that. So that's one way, and that's presuming that you have a bountiful garden. Or if you're processing your own meat, if you're hunting or what have you, if you get a certain amount of meat, you can kind of ration it out by month in order to plan your meals around that. But that's not really working for me right now because I did not have a good garden, did not hunt anything this year. Did put up a few quail and a few chickens, but that's about it, not enough to make a dent in anything. So there's a couple different ways of looking at it. So you can look at it, some people do a calorie count. So they take the average number of calories that an active male would need, and then they multiply that by the number of people in the family and try and figure out if they have enough calories. That's very, very cumbersome. I looked at doing that, and then I thought, no, that's a lot of work. The people in my family are well fed. Some of us probably a little overfed. So evidently we are getting enough calories doing what we're doing. Now, if there was ever a crisis situation and, it required more calories than what we actually had, not everybody needs the same amount. So if you had to, women require fewer calories, so you could reduce it that way. The ones that are doing the heavy work may get more. And obviously, like a small child, which I don't have a small child, but a small child wouldn't need as much as an adult. So there are ways of doing that. But that was a lot of work. I'm not going to go there. That's too complicated and too much math. So I think I have found a system of what will work for me. And I was going to show this to you, and then maybe you could adapt it to your own needs. I will tell you up front, this isn't 100% guarantee. You can make the best plans on paper, but then something always comes up. So I like to break it down by meal, and this is what's good about a working pantry, is it's things that your family actually is already eating. So you know it's going to get used because they eat that already. So my kids like to have a Mexican meal once a week. They really like the Hispanic foods. And it's easy to prepare, easy to do in a pinch of time. You can usually get the food on the table pretty quickly. So that could be tacos, could be burritos, could be like a Mexican casserole, could be enchiladas, anything like that. But usually as a side, and I'm just using this as an example, we have the rice and the beans. So if we're going to eat this meal once a week, I would need one of the packages of rice. Now, I know probably some of you are going to comment, oh my gosh, that stuff's terrible for you. Have you looked at the ingredients? If you have an acceptable recipe, I would love to hear it because my kids love this stuff. It actually does taste pretty good. And you can get this for $1 at the Dollar Tree. It's already pre-seasoned. For those of you that are into long-term storage, it's actually in its own Mylar bag, so it will store well. But this is the Vigo or Vigo yellow rice with saffron. There's that. So that would cost $1 at the Dollar Tree. So if you were going to eat this this meal once a week, and this particular bag has 4.5 servings, so that's the perfect size for us as a family of 4 with very little waste. I can guarantee you that it all gets eaten up. If you were going to have a 1-month supply, you would need 4 of these on hand. And then for a 3-month supply, you need 12. And then you get the picture. You can do the math out to determine how much you need. So, you know, if you wanted a full year supply, that would be 52 of these, that's quite a few, you know. So, you know, your storage may not allow that, or it might. But that's kind of how you add it up. You don't really think about it. But yeah, it does take a lot of food. And then that being said, my boys have recently discovered a love of salsa, which we make, but we're not making the tortilla chips ourselves. We are buying those. So if they get to have chips and salsa or chips and guacamole or chips and cheese sauce with the Mexican food weekly, if we wanted a year's supply, that would be 52 bags of chips. That's a storage nightmare because those chips take up a lot of room. So things to keep in mind. Now, if there was a crisis situation, say I lost my job or I got sick or anything like that, you know, we could just eat the rice and beans and the Mexican food and no chips, and, you know, we may be a little sad, but, you know, nobody's going to die over that. So that's one example. On that same topic, if you like the refried beans, again, you would need 1 jar a week, or if you're buying them at the store, you would need 1 can a week if you eat a Mexican meal with rice and beans weekly. So you could do the math out. You would need, for a 1-month supply, you would need 4 cans of beans, or it's definitely cheaper to can your own. Now, this is quick and easy because you can just go to the store and buy these and put them on your shelf. This takes a little bit more time, but these are home canned pinto beans, and then you can open them up drain the extra liquid, and then fry them with a little bit of, I like to use bacon fat, and mash them up. So this takes a little bit more effort, probably a little healthier for you, definitely cheaper. Although I was looking at the ingredients on this and there was nothing that was too scary. It's prepared pinto beans, water, contains less than 2% of salt, tomato paste, lard, that would be the fat, chili pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, spice, natural flavor, and paprika. So this is not a bad alternative. So if this is what you can do, this is what you can do. I bought this at Aldi, and these actually do taste pretty good. So something to think about. You know, you've got to go ahead and can up your beans ahead of time. And, you know, if you want a 1-year supply, that's 52 jars of beans. That's a lot of jars. You know, a lot of people don't have that many canning jars. If you want, you know, a 3-month supply, that would be a dozen jars. So take your pick. But that's one way of looking at it. Another thing is, on the weekends that I have my boys, we generally like to have pizza, especially if they've got friends over. And so I've got my boys every other weekend, so that's 2 weekends out of the month. And to make 3 large pizzas, because we're feeding multiple kids, it takes this bag of pepperoni that I also bought at Aldi's, and this is a 6-ounce bag. Okay, so you would need 2 a month, or we would need 2 a month. So if we wanted a 1-month supply, that's 2 bags of pepperoni. A 3-month supply would be 6 bags. 6-month supply would be 12 bags. So keep doing the math. But, you know, you look at it and you see 12 bags of pepperoni and you're thinking, oh my goodness, that is a lot of pepperoni, but it really isn't. It really isn't. Another way of looking at it, so I recently canned a whole bunch of meatloaf. And I can't remember how many jars I did. I got the meat on sale. It's the 70/30. I got it on sale at Dillon's, which is our Kroger, and made this canned meatloaf for quick meals. You know, do the meal prep ahead of time, have this cooked and ready to go. And then when you're trying to feed your family a sit-down meal and you've been working all day, it's really easy to pop open one of these cans and you've got your meat cooked already, and then, you know, maybe open up some cans of green beans and fix some potatoes and you're good to go. But let's say I only canned, I don't know, let's say I canned 12 of these. So that would mean if I wanted to have meatloaf once a year, or once a month actually, that would be a 1-year supply. So that's another way of taking a look at it, is what you have on hand and how often do you want to eat meatloaf. I don't even know that I want to eat meatloaf once a month, maybe once every 2 months. So if I had 12 jars of this, this would be a 2-year supply, because I wouldn't be eating it every month. And the same goes for the beef roast with onions that I did last week. You know, this is probably getting close to 2 pounds of meat. It does have the broth in it. You can do a number of different things with this. But it just depends on how often you want to have beef roast. So if I wanted to do like some fajitas with this, I could do that and combine that with the Mexican meal. Or I could make a stew out of this. I could probably add some golden mushroom soup to this and some sour cream, and have this served over noodles. I mean, there's a lot of different things you could do with it. But you kind of have to think about how often do I want to eat this type of product, and then that'll tell you how long of a supply you have, or how much you want to put up. So let's go back to the meatloaf. Let's say I happen to crack this open and my kids just love it, and they say, hey, we want to eat this every month. If I only have 12 jars of this, and that would be enough to have it once a month. But let's say I only made 4 jars of this. Well, then that would only be a 4-month supply. So then you can kind of take a look at what you have on hand and then adjust your needs based on that. And so you know how much you need to acquire. Now, what about things that it's not so cut and dry? What about, say, your laundry detergent? So when our Kroger affiliate puts these on sale for $1.99, I tend to buy a bunch of them. Years ago, when I was one of those extreme couponers, I had like 60-something things of laundry detergent. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a lifetime supply. It isn't. That stuff goes pretty quick. So if I'm looking at this Tide with Oxy, this is a 20 load bottle. But of course, you know, a lot of people, they don't use the little measuring marks on the cap. They'll just kind of pour it in there. But I do use the measuring, and I have a front loader washer which requires a lot less soap. So I can usually get by with using the number 1. But if it's a particularly large load or the clothes are particularly dirtier, I will use more soap. But this is 20 loads. This all is also 20 loads. But how do you know how many loads you're doing? Because it really does vary. I mean, sometimes you might be washing the sheets on a bed and the blankets and stuff, and then that's a lot more laundry versus just doing your normal clothes. So what I started doing is marking the dates. I don't know if you can see that on the inside. Marking the dates on each of these that I was using. And if you try to do this on everything all at once, you're going to go crazy. So I suggest 2 of the things that you find yourself buying most often. So I started with the laundry detergent, and then I also started with coffee. And I just saved the lid off of this. This was a thing of Maxwell House, and I just wrote the dates on it so you can see. And then I've got this Folgers, and I put the date on it too. Now, our Kroger affiliate will also put these on sale, usually a limit of 5 with the digital coupon. You can get these for pretty cheap. So it's like, okay, but how many is too much? I mean, how many would I have to where this doesn't get drunk and it actually starts going bad? Well, you can take a look at the expiration date. This is Best Buy, August 20th, 2020. We know that expiration dates are merely a suggestion. These packages are vacuum sealed, so they're going to last you beyond that. I don't know that you want to get years beyond that on coffee, though, because old coffee can kind of taste gross. So what I recommend you do is figure out how much you actually go through, and then strive to have first a 1-month supply, then a 3-month supply, and then go on up to 6. And then if you wanted a year supply, you could go for that. But again, it's kind of big. It takes up a lot of room, so it could start to become a storage nightmare. So let's go back to this laundry detergent. This 1 jug lasted 24 days. This jug lasted 20. And then this is the jug I'm using right now. So let's just split the difference and say one of these will last approximately 22 days. So let me get my calculator here on my phone. And there's 365 days in the year. And let's divide that by 22. You would need 16.5 jugs of laundry detergent to last a year. So then you could break that down to like the 6-month level. Well, that would be 8 jugs, and the 3-month level, that would be about 4 jugs. So it is possible to calculate these things out, and of course, you know, this is 20 loads, but again, not everybody measures, and this is probably 20 loads if you're using the smallest measurement. So I do recommend that you start marking your containers so that you actually know how long it lasts, and do it for a couple months, and then that way you know how much to buy. Back on this coffee, the Maxwell House, it actually only lasted 15 days. Now, I work from home, and I drink a lot of coffee, and I'm sure you guys give me some comments about that. But I do love my coffee. I drink a lot. Michael drinks a lot of coffee too, and my oldest son will drink it as well. So, you know, I guess I was a little surprised that one of these big containers was only lasting 15 days, but now that I know, if I want a 1 month supply, I need two. I need two of these to get through the month. Or if Kroger has them on sale and you can pick up 5 of them for cheap, I know I'm not going to be inundated with coffee, because I know that 5 containers of coffee is a 2.5 month supply. And I would definitely go through that coffee before it even got remotely close to the expiration date, which on this is August 2020. So there are ways that you can measure this and come up with some determination. So probably what I'll do is I'll go down to my pantry and take a look and see, okay, how much coffee do I have and how much do I want? You know, do I want a 3-month supply, a 6-month supply, or a year supply, or some combination in between? And then that also allows for some budgeting. So if Dillon's or Kroger puts these jugs on sale, and I pick them up when they're $1.99, and they'll put the All on sale, they'll put Arm & Hammer, they'll put that on sale, and then they'll put this Tide on sale, and they're all about the same size, but they'll put them on sale for $1.99. We're not brand picky either. But if I know that it's $1.99 and it lasts about 20 days, for budgeting purposes, that's about 10 cents a day on your laundry detergent. So if you want to get real nitpicky on your budget, you can say that, you know, given that it's $1.99 and it lasts 20 days, you know, that's 10 cents. 10 cents a day. All that money that you're out there earning, you're spending 10 cents of it on laundry detergent. That's a whole nother story. I used to make my own, and I didn't really think things were getting very clean. There were some oily spots on it, and I was like, you know what? If you can pick this stuff up on sale and pick up a lot of it on sale, enough to get you until they put it back on sale, I think it's cheaper, and I think this stuff works better too. But anyway, I would love to hear how you keep track of what is in your pantry and then what you need to get, because this is something I've been wrestling with. You know, I've canned up a lot of meats that I've picked up on sale, but then it's like I don't really know, you know, is this good for 3 months? Is it 6 months? Or have I really exceeded expectations and canned up 2 years worth of meat? I don't know. I'm going to have to go and do some inventory and kind of plan out some meals. You know, back on the Mexican food, I canned up, last week, you probably saw the video, I canned up a bunch of taco meat, and that was beef, you know, with the taco seasoning. And I think it was 18 jars. So, you know, if I wanted to have tacos every Tuesday, that's not enough for a year. If I wanted to have tacos once a month, it's certainly enough there for a year and a half. You know, because there might be other types of meats that we want to have for the Mexican food. You know, it could be fajitas. We might do a chicken, you know, so it really just depends. So please let me know, what ideas do you have for keeping track of what's in your pantry, and how do you determine when it is enough? And also, if you have a proven recipe for this rice, I would love to hear it, because even though this was cheap, it's only $1, plain rice is a lot cheaper, so I'm thinking that this could be done for cheaper. But I've tried several different recipes and it just doesn't work out that good. So please, please, please leave a comment below. Let me know if you've got a good recipe. Let me know what you do to keep track of what's in your pantry, and how you determine if you've got a 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, or a year supply. I think beyond a year, I think that would be very hard to do quantity-wise, because I mean, like you can see, this takes up a lot of room. For a year supply, it would be 24 of these. That takes up quite a bit of room. So it may not be practical to go beyond a year supply. So yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys are doing to keep track of this. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great day. If you have not done so already, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. Give my video the thumbs up, leave a comment down below, share the video, whatever. I'm kind of hoping to grow this channel this year and could definitely use your help in doing so. All right, thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day.